The old library was silent. Dusty books lined the shelves. 5 students studied, whispering quietly. It was late, too late. A cold wind slammed the library door open. The students jumped. There was a feeling, a chill in the air. Something was wrong. Did you feel that? Elsbeth, the quiet one, whispered. Just the wind, Jake, the jock said. But he didn't sound sure. They went back to their books. But the feeling remained. A presence. The hairs on their arms stood up. The wind howled outside, an unnatural sound. They were no longer alone. A book flew off a shelf, landing open. Strange symbols glowed on the page. The students gasped. This was no ordinary night. Fear crept into their hearts. They huddled together, whispering in fear. The symbols pulsed with a dark energy. "What is this?" whispered Maria, her voice trembling. The air grew thick. A voice boomed, deep and menacing. It spoke of an ancient prophecy, of a door between worlds, a door that was opening. The students listened in terror. Their world was about to change. The voice faded. Silence returned, heavy and ominous. The students looked at each other, fear in their eyes, but also a spark of determination. They wouldn't stand by and do nothing. They had to act. "We have to stop it," said David, the strategist of the group. His voice shook, but his eyes held a new resolve. "But how?" asked Chloe, the tech whiz, her voice barely a whisper. David pointed at the book. "The answer is in there. We need to understand what we're dealing with." Hours passed. They deciphered ancient texts. Their fear turned into a strange sort of courage. They discovered the truth. Demonic creatures trapped for centuries were trying to enter their world. The book held the key to sending them back, but it also spoke of a terrible price. "We have to close the portal," said Jake. "But the book says it needs a sacrifice," whispered Elsbeth, her voice trembling. They knew what they had to do. There was no other way. They had to close the portal, even if it meant risking their lives. They gathered what they needed: ancient artifacts, protective charms. Hope was a flickering candle in the darkness. They stood before the portal. It swirled, a vortex of energy. Demons shrieked from the other side. The air crackled with fear. Chloe threw a handful of powder. The air shimmered. The portal solidified. "It's working!" she shouted over the roar of the wind. They were ready, but nothing could prepare them for what came next. Section 6. The Power Within. Demons poured through, hideous creatures with fangs and claws. Their eyes burned with hatred. The students fought back. Jake, surprisingly agile, dodged attacks. His every blow found its mark. Maria, wielding a flaming symbol, held the creatures at bay. Chloe, using her tech, created sonic blasts that sent demons flying. David, wielding a staff tipped with a glowing crystal, channeled energy, blasting the creatures back. Elsbeth, her voice ringing with power, chanted protective spells. Section 7. A Glimmer of Hope. The library was a whirlwind of fire and shadow. The students fought with the courage of desperation. Each victory fueled their hope. But the demons kept coming. The students were tiring. They needed a miracle. Elsbeth, eyes closed, chanted louder. A surge of energy flowed from her. The air crackled, light blazed, the symbols on the book pulsed. The portal shuddered. It was working. They could close it. Section 8. A New Dawn. A Lingering Shadow. With a final push, they slammed the book shut. The portal imploded. The remaining demons screamed and vanished. The library was silent. Smoke drifted in the air. The students lay exhausted, wounded but alive. They had won. For now, as the sun rose, casting long shadows in the library, they knew this was only the beginning. The book, now closed, rested on the table. Its magic felt dormant but not gone. They had a feeling they hadn't seen the last of the demons. Section 9. The Watchers. The students cleaned up the library, hiding all evidence of the battle. They vowed to keep their secret, to protect the world. They formed a bond that night, forged in fire and fear. They were no longer just students, they were the Watchers, guardians against the darkness, and they would be ready, because somewhere out there in the shadows, something evil watched, waiting for its time to rise again. Please like and subscribe.